Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm CB Harris, and welcome back to the Armory at Able Tactical in Guernsey, Wyoming. I'm here with Shane Clevenger again, and we're going to talk about Bullseye again, but specifically, I don't really know much about Bullseye, and I'm seeing some optics here, and what are we looking at as far as the optics go, and why is that associated with Bullseye?
Well, the optics, a lot of guys use these red dot scopes. When you shoot Bullseye, you can't have a scope that has any type of magnification. It's one of the rules.
Okay.
So some of the newer ones that are out in the market would be these two, like these Aimpoint Micros. They're very small. They're a little bit longer because I have sunshades front and back on both of those. They're very good. The only thing that's kind of a pain with them is you have to have a special tool. It's got two little prongs to make your elevation and windage changes if you need them, as opposed to these you can just use a screwdriver or a dime or whatever. So these are kind of the new ones out on the market. They're very good scope. As you can see, this particular firearm has a rail that's already on the gun when you buy it, so you don't have to buy another rail like this one, and this one. Same with this one, but the cabinet is cut out so you can mount this on there, and that's why there's no front sight on this pistol, so you can mount them on there. Another thing about that is, the theory is the lower the sight is to the line of bore, the better off you are also. So that's another, I guess, advantage. We have another, this is an ultra dot on this Marvel. So it's one of the older ones, 1-inch tube, an Aimpoint. This is an older Aimpoint. I've had it for a long time. It's done well by me. It's an Aimpoint 3000. But again, like I said, as far as Aimpoints go, the Micros are the new one. Here's an actual, another ultra dot that actually has the different size dots on it. You know, you can go from, I think, 3 mil all the way up to 10. So if it's a little bit cloudy that day and you don't need such a big dot, you can tone it down. Also intensity, you know, from 1 to 10.
Now, just for my own sake, does that change the size of the dot too?
Yes.
Can you do that?
Right, that's what I'm saying. You can go with this particular knob on the side. As you can see, it's larger and then it gets smaller, which is a no-brainer if you want a smaller dot.
I'm assuming you would want a smaller dot, typically, if you can.
Yeah.
Is that correct? I mean, like I said, I don't really know much about Bullseye, but it seems to me that, you know, you'd want a little bit more precise aiming if you can. You'd want a smaller dot.
Well, that again goes back to the preference of the shooter. Some guys like a smaller dot. Some guys like a bigger dot where it covers up the whole entire black on the round circular target.
Oh, okay.
And the reason for that is when you're shooting Bullseye, it's on a military style target. So that being said, the 25 to your eye looks just like the 50 when they're posted as far as size. Same with if you shoot rifle. Okay. The military targets, you know, like the 8, 9, 10 ring is blacked out at the 50, and the 9 and 10 and extra ring are blacked out at the 25. So to your eye, it's supposed to appear the same, same size. So again, it's preference. You'll hear some people say that you should focus on the dot when you fire. Other people say you should focus, if you're using a dot, you should focus on the target as opposed to the dot and kind of superimpose it on your target.
And obviously, you know, maybe not everybody knows, but you know, if you're shooting iron sights, obviously you want that front sight post.
You want the clear
that's really
cutting.
the big thing, and that's why I think red dots they're kind of making I wouldn't say a comeback, but they're really starting to make a push, because especially older shooters are starting to get, you know, some bad eyes and stuff. Red dots really help out. You can focus on the target and still see the dot.
Right. So, and that's another thing. If you have prescription lenses, if you're shooting, obviously your prescription lenses, the optical center would be in the center. So if you're shooting Bullseye and you're standing sideways or whichever way you're going to stand and fire, go to your optometrist and say, hey, I need my optical center to be right here, and they can cut the glass so that it's your optical center is in there. I've done that. A lot of guys used to shoot rifle, because if you're shooting rifle, I'm not looking through the center, I'm actually looking through the very top portion of the lens, because the way you position your head on the gun. So yeah, the red dots make it a little easier. Again, like I said, if you're having some problems with your groups focusing on the dot, then try to focus on the target and see how that works out for you.
All right, so if you guys have any questions about the red dots that we're showing here, or any questions at all about Bullseye, go ahead and leave it down in the comments section. And if you're not a subscriber and you want to become one, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And be sure to come back next Thursday for another Thursday's training tips, hints, and tricks, as well as DIY projects. And until next time, take care and be safe.